All right, Cole CUBELIC, big Auburn man. I want to talk to you about this Deep South's oldest rivalry, Cole, from the perspective of the Auburn man. What is the state of the Auburn Georgia rivalry right now?
Yeah, I mean, if depending on how you describe rivalry, some people would tell you, kind of going back to the Alabama Tennessee deal up until last year, that if it's not competitive and it doesn't go both ways, it's not a rivalry. They would say that it's not one. I don't abide by that. I don't agree with that. I think this is still one that has a ton of meaning. It brings emotion to the surface for a lot of people. And to me, that's what a rivalry is. When it invokes different emotions because of what has happened and what could happen, and you know how you'll feel if you lose the game or win the game, and you know that that's going to be either just a lot of regret, a lot of remorse, a lot of sorrow, or just pure bliss. That's what rivalries are to me. And this one still has it. It's one that when I was in school, it meant a ton because 30, 35, 25% of our roster was from Georgia. So the guys like Takeo Spikes and Antoine Nolan and Ben Leard, this was their Iron Bowl. And we wanted to win that for them. And then they knew 2 weeks later was our Iron Bowl, and they wanted to win that one for us. So it's not only the history of what this game has meant as far as division titles, conference titles, national championships, but just the fact that you've gotten it every year for so long, it means a whole lot. And I still think it's one of the best rivalries in college football.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It used to be in November. Still feels weird to be this
So
early
weird.
in the calendar, but no matter when it's played, man, it means a ton. So Georgia fans and a lot of college football fans saw that spread come out, 14.5 points for Georgia. And I think there was a little bit of surprise. I was not one of those people, for the record. But when you saw that line, what did you think, just based on where Auburn is and where Georgia is right now?
I didn't think it was enough, to be honest with you. I thought it was a little low. I have not been as down on Georgia as a lot of Georgia fans have this year. I get a lot of we talked about the podcast that I do on Sunday's Cube Show, and a lot of people like, I don't know what you're seeing with Georgia. I don't understand. Like, how can you be so optimistic? And the first thing is, Wes, I'm still a big believer in winning football games. If you win the game, that's a big positive for me. A lot of people have gotten away from that. But the other thing is the way that Auburn looked last week. I mean, 15 tackles for loss in a college football games, that's unacceptable. You had a quarterback that literally could not get the ball out of his hands. Those kind of things can't continue to happen. So I think that I've seen some flashes of some guys that are emerging in this Georgia football team. Just because the strength might not be exactly where they have been the last 2-3 years, I still think they're a really good group. And Auburn's just got a lot of soul searching to do. I love the running backs. I think there's a defensive lineman or two that are playing good football. Eugene Asante obviously playing great football, but up front on that offensive line, it hasn't come together yet. The receivers have been a little hit and miss. It's just that continuity is not there for this Auburn football team yet. And I just don't. Being at home is dangerous always, and especially that place. That place is special, but it's tough for me to imagine that it's going to be lower than 14.5.
Yeah, that's what the difference maker for me is that home field advantage. Last one for you, Cole. Auburn's defense, you just mentioned it, is kind of coming together. I think they're pretty solid. I think they're about top 25 right now overall. Are they strong enough to make Carson Beck and Mike Bobo slip up and get the upset in Carson Beck's first start on the road in this league?
The thing that concerns me most, Wes, is how dinged up they are in the secondary. Keontae Scott's going to be out for a while, and you had multiple players leave that Texas A&M game. Probably will suit up and play against Georgia, but where are they from a health perspective? Is it 80, 90%? Is it 75%? So against the team that has just seemingly an unlimited roster of weapons on the perimeter, I don't like that. And I do think that physically up front, there are some guys that are playing some good football. Keldrick Falk, the freshman, is playing pretty good football. We mentioned Eugene Asante at linebacker, but I don't know if this defense is all on the same page just yet. It seems to be very hit and miss. And you mentioned getting to the quarterback. That's not something that they've been very good at. They haven't been able to apply pressure on a consistent basis. I think slowing the rushing attack down, possible, feasible. Getting to the quarterback going to be a different challenge. That's something that's going to have to happen if they're going to win this football game.
Good stuff, Q. Appreciate it, man. We'll catch more of you this weekend covering Tennessee and South Carolina, dude. Thanks.
Thank you.